Hello, my friends. Once again, this is Paulette Atencio. I am from Paulette's Cocina on YouTube channel. I want to say thank you to all of you for all the support that you have given me throughout my endeavors of trying to continue with this cooking show in regards to the cooking and baking from northern New Mexico, which has developed in so many different places, not only in northern New Mexico, but throughout New Mexico, and it is just spreading through many states. Anyway, today, my friends, I wanted to talk to you a little bit about a dish that I'm going to teach you how to prepare. This one is called, in English, we call it a bread pudding. In Spanish, we call it capirotada, or we can also call it a soapa. And this dish, it originated, almost, I believe that it started somewhere in the 11th century. And it had to do with the English cooks. And they had to repurpose, I guess, leftover bread. At that time, people didn't want to let anything go to waste. So sometimes they would have, the leftover bread or bread that was going to become a little stale or whatever. They didn't want to lose anything. And so in the olden days, it became known as a poor man's pudding because of the lack of food at the time. And later on, through the centuries and through different generations and people traveling through different parts of the world, the recipe started changing until it made its way to probably northern New Mexico. And that is where I come in. And what I have done for you today is I have taken some bread, and I'm just going to place it in the toaster, okay? But in the olden days, they would just cut it in big chunks, and they would place it in the oven until it came out kind of toasted, just like this. And they would take out the bread from the oven, they would let it cool a little bit, and then what they would do is they would start to cut it up, okay? And they would just cut it, and it doesn't have to be like small pieces. That is not important, because once that you get all the other ingredients together, and it's all gonna soak up, and it's not like if you're gonna get a big chunk of bread or something, okay? And while I am doing this, I'm going to get my pan ready, and then I'm gonna place my sugar on top of the oven, and I'm gonna watch it very carefully because I don't want it to go burn, okay? Because then you'll have to start all over again. And this will take a little while. And remember that patience is a key to good results. The next thing that I'm going to do is I'm going to take my 2 cups of sugar that I have placed in my big black pan, and I'm just going to place it on top of the burner. And you all have to be patient, okay? Don't put it very high, because you're just going to burn it. And just let it do its own thing. It's just going to melt. And soon the sugar is going to caramelize. It's going to get a beautiful golden brown color. And once it reaches that consistency, we're just going to turn it off just for a little bit. And then we will continue with the different steps. What I'm doing over here is I'm watching my sugar as it starts to dissolve. And like I say, just be patient until the sugar melts and it starts to caramelize. It'll take a little while, okay? Okay, my friends, we are almost there. This is a caramelized sugar. And I've been watching it closely because I don't want it to burn and to get that bitter taste. Because if that would happen, we would have to start all over with the sugar. It is almost there. And what I'm going to do is I'm just going to turn off the burner. What I'm going to do is I'm going to get 2 cups of cold water, and very slowly I'm going to add it to my sugar. And please be careful because the sugar is really, really hot. And it's going to start to bubble. Can you see a bubble? Just keep doing it and doing it and doing it. We're going to take, and after a while it's just going to be really, really sticky. So there's really nothing you can do, okay? It has to do its own thing. I went and I buttered my Dutch oven pan, and then I just placed some pieces of my toasted bread in there. And you know what? The steps of what you place in there first or second, it's not that important, okay? I'm going to start off with just a little bit of walnuts that I have already chopped up, and I'm just going to sprinkle them like that, a few on the bottom. I'm going to take a little bit of the cheese, and you can use any kind that you want. I'm just going to use one that kind of melts and stays soft. But it doesn't matter, the cheese, any type of cheese that you want will be fine. And you just sprinkle it however you want. You come and you get, what I did is I diced some peaches. And again, because nowadays people have more ingredients and they can add and try to obtain a different flavor, maybe give it a different richness to the texture. And then from there, the one ingredient that should always, always be in the sopa or in the bread pudding are your raisins. Oh dear. If it didn't have raisins, it was not the real thing. So here we go. I boil them, or you can just place them in really hot water just so they can soften. And then you just sprinkle them on top. That's all you're going to do. You're going to get some more bread. You're going to place it on the top, and you're just going to layer it. There we go. Some more cheese. And you just, it's going to melt, so not to worry. Okay, we are ready to add the syrup to our sopa. And you're just going to keep adding until the bread is moistened. Let's just keep doing this and doing this. And you're going to know when it is to stop. What we're going to do is try to add as much of the liquid as possible, because you don't want your sopa to dry out. Besides, it's going to soak up everything, and all the liquid is going to dissolve. Just give it the flavor. Let me just pour this over it. Here we go. And let me just mix it. Make sure that everything is, I made a little bit of the syrup just for the flavor. It has a lot of the nutmeg. And it had a little bit of brandy in it, but you don't have to. Okay, and I think that it has enough moisture in there. We're just going to add a little bit of cinnamon, okay? Just on the top. Just mix it because you don't want to be tasting the cinnamon by itself. It just needs to incorporate with everything else. Make sure that all the flavors come together. And you're gonna taste it, but the aroma, oh, you're not gonna believe. Okay, my friends, aquí está. There is your bread pudding, your sopa, or your capirotada, whatever you want to call it. What I'm gonna do now is I'm going to place the sopa or the capirotada in the oven. I have preheated my oven to 375 degrees. Please remember, it's not like a cake or anything else that you have a set time for it. Everything has already been prepared. The only thing that we are trying to do at this point is to get all the flavors to come together. We want the cheese to melt, and we want to be able to smell the aroma of what it is that you are going to be eating, and maybe doing a plate presentation later on. And so I'm just going to say, okay, and with this one you can just 15 minutes, maybe even less. You just, when you see that everything is bubbling and the cheese is melted, it's done. So I'm just going to tell you that maybe 15 minutes, okay? And there goes in my Dutch oven. Okay, my friends, I'm making messes. Sometimes I feel like if I'm getting into an argument with Betty Crocker, but just bear with me. I believe that our sopa or capirotada is done. So I'm just going to pull up the rack and get my dish, my Dutch pan or out of the oven. Okay, we are ready with the end result. And here it goes. I'm gonna take my glass dessert plates that I have. I'm just gonna use an ice cream scoop, okay? I usually like 2 scoops per person. Works out really well. I'm gonna be making one for me and one for you. How about that? And here we go, my friends. Doesn't that look yummy? It looks delicious, and it is really warm, and it smells divine. And I want to say thank you for being so kind with me and for staying and visiting me at my house. And later on, I'm going to show you my outside kitchen. I haven't been baking outside because the weather has been just so hot, and we have a lot of mosquitoes. But hopefully soon we're going to be able to start doing it outside again. I know you enjoy that a lot more than sometimes my baking inside. But just bear with me. We're all familia. We're all in it together. And please, please share. Okay? Bye, my amigos. You have a wonderful and blessed day.